I didn't start video as well until I moved to Austin.
Really?
Yeah, I started video probably like I did some video, but never for clients. It was more for like myself, creating a YouTube video, and I was trying to vlog my trip down here.
Why'd you move out here?
I moved, so I moved. Okay, I'm just gonna say why not. Originally why I moved out here was I was dating an ex at the time, and she was in North Carolina, and I was actually almost about to move to North Carolina.
Oh, dang.
And then there was a conversation, and then all of a sudden Austin came up. I've never heard of Austin ever, and like, it's funny that I say that because wait, we were taught in school like the Capitol song, you know, and I just looked up a gym to work in Austin. Because my background is also a fitness coach. I've been a fitness coach for 10 plus years. So the easiest job for me to have income already was being a fitness coach somewhere. So I looked up a gym. They had an opening. I also said that I could do social media, take photos, and just like, they didn't have the budget for it then, but now I told them I just do it anyways because I needed something to build myself in the city too as well.
Yeah.
And have some proof in work as well. And then that job came up, and then literally within that process of me moving and finding out where I wanted to move to actually doing it, it took a month. I made that decision very fast.
Dang.
Yeah, it was probably the fastest decision I've ever made in my entire life. And it just felt right. You know, if something feels right and it's just for some reason there's no hesitation, like that, it makes sense. It makes sense. I moved within like, I think I decided in like October or probably November, and then I decided to move.
This was what year? 20?
I moved 2021 because I remember the exact date. It was December 9th of 2021 is when I moved when I landed in Austin. And
That's crazy.
Yeah, my first ever stop was Switchback and Pueblo Viejo.
That's wild. We got here, I think, 3 weeks after that.
Yeah.
I moved out here like first week of January of 2022. Yeah. That's wild. So we've been here basically the same time.
Yeah, exactly.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And I mean, like, from then on, it's just like, you know, doing a lot of like social media posts for the gym and then being a coach as well. It's like the best way to kind of introduce yourself to a community of people. Yeah. And also, my gym where I coached at back in California, it was like, you know, people in their mainly demographic was 40 to 50s, right? Maybe some 30s, and maybe a sprinkle of like 20s. But really, it was more of like a town where a lot of people have families and just settling in. But what shook me the most was how youthful of a demographic Austin was. Yeah. Yeah. And there was just a lot of people like my age and just people like probably a few years older or younger, and young business entrepreneurs too. Because my second client, and to this day is still a client, great friends of mine, is this barbershop down in downtown Austin, and I do social media management for them. I do all the photos and videos. And
that's awesome.
Yeah, they were my first retainer client actually of doing work for them, and they still are to this day.
That's cool. Yeah. Okay, so you left LA, came to Austin. Okay, so remind me. Okay, why did you come to Austin? So you're supposed to move to North Carolina, but why'd you end up with Austin?
Oh, that's right. It was because it just intrigued me more.
Oh,
you know,
okay,
and it was halfway to North Carolina, so I just decided like, you know what, this looks like a better opportunity for me personally, because like the gym that I applied in North Carolina, it was like a little iffy, you know, unsure. Same thing. I think it probably would have been the same thing of what I was coaching in California, but this just had a different opportunity, different goal setting. Yeah. And it kind of set like the foundation stone of like what I am today. Because I was coaching, and even when I recently went full-time freelance media, like probably like a couple months ago. We're talking like 3-4 months ago.
What were you doing? I thought you've been full-time since you came here. I guess you were coaching still.
It was a slow build-up. It was like this scale of, okay, coaching, media, and then it slowly throughout the years just started progressing. And then now I could conversate most of my income is based upon what I've been able to do on freelance of retainers or one-off projects, you know, and that has been a grateful thing for me of just seeing this majority of me being a coach, being my income from creative to now slowly building to where like, okay, I have to stop coaching, but I can still do social media and like video photos for the gym. And now technically, even though I'm with the gym still, it's all under being a freelance now.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So dang, that was a wild transition.
So you came to Austin. Did you know anybody here? Like
I knew
outside of the gym job,
no
coaching. Like you didn't have anything else lined up. No, nothing.
I didn't know anybody. Yeah. And being a coach, you know, you have already a good communication skills and like people skills as well, you know. And it wasn't that, I would say, like, confidently say, like, it wasn't that tough for me because I'm a very curious person. I want to talk to people.
Yeah.
I love fitness, and being in a very fitness and healthy mindset like city, it was kind of like an easier way of going about things. Because it'd be weird to be an extrovert and you go somewhere that's like, I don't even know, like, I'm just gonna name like random, say maybe Montana, because all I imagine from Montana is like neighbors are like this far and this far, you know.
That's a good representation.
Is it? Okay, good. Yeah. And then like here, it's like like everybody's like in the same similar circle, or like interjects in people's circles in a good way, right? Where they're just like, hey, I didn't know you come to this. Like, hey, like you should come to this more often, you know?
Yeah.
Like,
that's the cool thing with Austin is most people that live here aren't from here. Like I'd say the majority of people I meet are not from Austin.
Yeah.
And so everybody comes here in a very similar position, like where they took a job or they're just trying to figure it out. And so everybody's very like-minded and trying to help each other out, and like we're all kind of in the same boat, which is cool.
Exactly. I mean, speaking of like from the gatekeeping perspective, it's like I don't really see any of that here, because like a lot of, to this day, like we, like people in my field, we recommend each other to other people always. Yeah. And when I had my first, I think, job or as a creative doing photos for somebody, it's one of my best friends to this day, and probably one of my first friends that I ever like met in Austin. And he said, like, hey, I can't do this job, can you do it for me? I was like, what? Like, what? You sure?
That's cool.
Yeah. I'm not saying like, you sure? I was like, this is strange to me, because nobody just like says that, you know?
Yeah.
But it's cool because it's just knowing that you are a resource to someone else, right? That you can provide when you can't. And I think that's super valuable, because like if they hit you, I said this in a different podcast before, of like, if someone reaches out to you and it just interjects with some sort of scheduling that you can't do it, but you can refer someone else that can do it for them, that's great. Because one, it's either now you're seen as they really want to work with you next time, or they have found someone else that can work with them. And if that person so happens to be needing of work at that time, and they get them as a retainer or whatever, like favorite client, that's huge for them, because that's just another way of getting payment for them to provide for them, you know. And I think that's huge. I think that should be more like, because like it's like that saying, what goes around comes around, you know. Because the same thing would happen to me then, because like they're hit me up and say, hey, I can't shoot for this client, can you? Like, yes, sure, you know. So
I scratch your back, you scratch mine, kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
That's awesome, dude. I feel like that's for like people listening, I feel like a lot of people have aspirations to like leave the city they grew up in, leave their job, try and like build their own business. That's a scary thing, because it's very unpredictable, and you're kind of going into the unknown. Mm-hmm. So like what, I mean, I guess you had kind of the security of the job at the gym, but like, I mean, going to a city where you don't know a single person, that's like pretty intimidating. Like we moved around a lot, but I was at Bree, like I was with somebody. Yeah. You just came out here by yourself, right?
Yeah. We were still in a long distance relationship that time with the person that I was seeing at the time. Yeah. And I really just took it upon myself to, bike ride to places in Austin. And even like I met a friend where she was hosting a class at Auditorium Shores, and I just went out there like, hey, would you be okay if I just take some pictures of your group class and send them to you? And she was okay with it. And she's still a friend to this day. But it was moments like that where I did the responsibility of embedding myself in, not coming here to take over, but really finding out who are the people that are here and what do they need, Yeah,
putting yourself out there too.
Exactly.
Not expecting it all just to like come to you.
Exactly, yeah. And I thought that was a very interesting moment of like what I did, because like I think a lot of people, yes, you're right, like a lot of people don't know what to do, but really like I think people are just afraid to be that person to just say, hey, Yeah. I think people just need to do more of that, of just like message someone with relatability, of just like, hey, you want to grab coffee or this or that, The one thing that like people should never do is just like straight up say pick your brain on things. Like, no, you should just really want to know the person. Yeah. I think, because otherwise, I think when people say like pick your brain, or not wanting to find out about you first, is already like kind of like a bad taste in the mouth.
Yeah. When you're only hanging out with them or trying to chat with them for like the transactional of like, okay, exactly, what can they offer me, rather than just like being humans.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That relationship building should be more important than anything else. Yeah. I think the two things that I've noticed of like, 'cause it's interesting, because the work that I've been able to get and the work that I do, like there are a lot of creatives in this and all over the world, right? And a lot of people can probably do work that is 10 times better than what I am able to curate or add transitions or add all this in there. But I think the two things that I make sure that anytime I get an email or get approached is I want to know this person first so I can properly provide them what they need. Mm-hmm. And the second part is just making sure that what they receive, they're happy with, you know?
Yeah.
And it's problem solving for them. Like, did I solve your problem with this solution of what I gave you? I think those are two things: being able to build a relationship with someone and being a problem solver in this industry or any industry, in fact.
That's great. I mean, that's like the purpose of any business, right? Is to solve a problem.
Yeah.
Whether it's content creation or a plumber, like you're doing the same thing. You're just solving somebody's problem that they have.
Exactly.
And that's a good approach to that. I like that.
Yeah. Like for the plumber example, I want a plumber that's going to tell me what the real problem is and how to fix it. And if they fix it, that's great. I remember that plumber and I will recommend it to a friend that also has a problem. I don't want a plumber that just comes in all just like, you know, just narrow-minded, does the thing and just hands me the check. I'm like, no, I want someone that like wants to be actually like love what they do and provide that information, you know.